Hey, welcome to the Virtually Speaking podcast, coverage of VMware Explore 2025. Dave, welcome back.
Oh, that joke never gets old.
Never gets old.
Great to be here, Pete.
Absolutely, yeah. David Lithicum, as always, joining us. Love the color commentary you've been joining on these conversations, so appreciate your efforts. So many great announcements this week around private AI and other areas, and also some great partnerships that have been enhanced. And so joining us on this episode is Prashanth Shenoy from the VCF division. Prashanth, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me again. I thought after the last time you're going to kick me out, but hey, always a pleasure to be here.
Honestly, side note, the funny thing is the last time we had you on in Barcelona, there was a torrential downpour, and the roof was leaking right behind you, and I'll never forget that for as long as I live, because consummate professional behind the microphone, just like it never happened. And I'm looking over his shoulder and seeing all of this rain. I'm like, wow, that was some crazy time. But
yeah.
Welcome back to a much more drier climate.
Yeah, and exciting times. Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
So big announcements, but also you had a great session this week I wanted to touch on real quick. It's the best practices for deploying private cloud.
Yeah.
And you did that with some customers and I think a partner as well, correct?
Yeah, ING and Integris Health. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so what was that session about essentially?
Yeah, so as we've been going through this 2-year transformation as VMware became part of Broadcom, and we've been working towards building that modern private cloud with VCF and all the key announcements that you heard this week. One of the key things that our customers have asked us is like, hey, we are all in on the vision of the modern private cloud, but this is where we are today, right? A lot of them have virtualized their compute infrastructure. Some of them have built some automation layers. Some of them have done some work with operations, but hey, I don't have a private cloud operating model. So from here to where I am today, to the full stack infrastructure adoption deployment, how do I get there, right? Help me give some best practices of customers who have done that, partners who work with these customers to do that, right? So that was this session all about. What is the crawl, walk, run, fly journey of going to a modern private cloud look like to really build, deploy, operate, protect, and consume a private cloud. So we discussed a few best practices. I'm not going to give you all of the details here, otherwise nobody's going to go watch the session.
Exactly.
But, the secret is start off with operations, right? Like just get operations so you can do fleet level way of upgrading, patching, maintaining. It's non-disruptive to the entire underlying infrastructure. You can get it going. You can immediately show the operational efficiency and the value to your VP of infrastructure, to the C-level, so they understand, okay, there's true value here. Now let's get to the next step. And then you do things like self-service, do container applications running on VCF, et cetera, right? So we had some discussions there.
That's a great bit of advice. One of the things we did, when I looked at architecture for the last 20 years, we started to put operations up, to the left and make it, part of the initial planning and requirements phase. And everything worked out better then because we knew what we were operating and we could define how these things are going to be built and how they're going to be defined in practice. And it just changed the architecture. So I think that's spot on thinking.
Yeah. Plus, it's operations are not the most quote unquote sexiest thing, right? Like they are mundane tasks. They are pretty repetitive, like upgrades, like certs management, right? Like password rotation, things that you need to do. Like let the machines do that, help it do it at scale so that you can focus on truly helping work with the developers, work with your line of businesses, and build the services that they want to build their modern application, right? So that's kind of the transformation. So in a way, we are asking our VI admins to be a cloud admin, right? So that's the kind of the transformation, and what are some of the key steps to help you get there? So
absolutely. Yeah. So another few big announcements that happened this week was certainly some of the partnerships that we're having. So one name that I'm sure many folks that listen to this podcast are familiar with, which is Canonical. A lot of folks are using Ubuntu. But how does that tie into VCF though?
Yeah. I mean, see, we've had a really good partnership over the last several years with Canonical, right? But they're really well known for Ubuntu, right? Ubuntu is pretty much pervasive for running your cloud OS, if you will, and AI OS, right? So all of the Ubuntu containers are pretty well entrenched in the hyperscaler world as well as in the on-prem world. So we've now built a very strategic partnership with Canonical where we serve three purposes. In general, the goal of a partnership is, hey, you provide flexibility and choice for your customers, right? Whether it's the hardware, whether it's the software, whether it's the applications. Number two, you make them build new services, run new applications, generate new revenue stream, and this partnership really helps. Number three, instead of them stitching all of this ecosystem of things together, because IT is a pretty complex system, you help it do for them so they can move on running their business, right? And Canonical addresses all three, right? So the number one thing that we have done is we have the Ubuntu OS now part of VCF with enterprise support. So customers don't need to go to Canonical and VMware Broadcom to get that. So it's all packaged, so you get one system, one support, so you can go run your business.
I'm sorry, is much of what customers are looking for going to be these integrated bundles where instead they don't have to go off and piece everything together, you're able to offer them as a service?
Absolutely.
So what's the feedback on that in terms of the terms of importance and its cost efficiencies?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one is cost efficiency, right? So the other one is even the security aspect of it, right? So especially with what they call the chiseled containers, where they've removed all of these unwanted libraries and dependencies, and you don't even need internet connection because they have all of the repo built in, right? So, but it's the right set of libraries and packages that is built for you to run your container. So that kind of shrinks the threat surface of your containers. So you can run it a lot more efficiently. The applications are lighter, it occupies smaller registry size, and it's more secure also. So that's another advantage of this. And particularly with air-gapped environment and other places where compliance and regulatory are high needs, so we have done pre-compiled vGPU drivers embedded in VCF, so they don't need to go get it with an outside repo, etc. So again, makes it a lot more secure, a lot more faster. So those are some of the key things that we are working with Canonical and bringing it to VCF. So, and this is one of the things, and Pete, you know this, right? We've seen a lot of workload growth happen for VCF.
Oh yeah.
In the container space. Most of the modern applications, these databases, these data engines, obviously the Gen AI applications, we are seeing the most growth for VCF on those. Yes, our business critical applications, your SQL servers, your VDIs, all still are growing, but these are the ones where customers are looking at us and say, hey, make it easy and build a single platform that I can run my VM and container workloads. And with Ubuntu, this really helps like fast-pace this acceleration.
To have it run light, secure, and also be able to do lifecycle management on it and securely.
Awesome.
So yeah, absolutely.
You did a better job than me, man. In one sentence. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, another really exciting partnership, one we've had for a while, is NVIDIA. And there's been some announcements on some of the changes to that partnership. Maybe you can help us with that.
Yeah, we've had a very long-standing relationship with NVIDIA. And with them, we built that turnkey private AI foundation that has been going on really well. But what we are seeing is a shift in the market where last year it was more of a pilot, prove it, kind of a Gen AI mode. This year it's been like, hey, we've identified a very specific set of applications and use cases, whether it's code assist, whether it's document search, whether it's like chatbot for customer support.
Yep.
Now I want to go run production scale, right? So with that in mind, we said, okay, you don't need a separate service, private AI service outside of VCF. We're going to bring that private AI foundation into VCF Foundation and with NVIDIA, and we're going to have the same SKU that you've been running your modern workloads. Now you can run Gen AI workloads also. So that's one of the biggest announcements that we made this week that has been resonating really well. As part of that, we are expanding our partnership with NVIDIA to support their latest Blackwell architecture GPUs, the B200s, which is like really breakthrough performance workloads, with their the Pro 600 server edition, which expands the kind of AI use cases beyond the typical Gen AI to like visual computing kind of a thing. So that's something that we are working towards. And then support for their ConnectX NICs, their performance NICs, as well as the Bluefield 3 DPUs, right?
DPUs as well, right?
All of these, especially when you're building like 70 billion parameter models and you have these large AI clusters, you really need this enhanced data path without any miss in data connectivity, right? So the ConnectX and the Bluefield DPUs really help offload some of the performance from the CPU and puts us on the specialized DPUs and performance NICs so you can run this large-scale AI clusters.
So how important is performance to optimization really kind of to the clients? In other words, what kind of are they driven by efficiency now? Because I kind of see that in the market as well. My clients for the last 10 years, they're driven by the ability to get more value out of the technology, which is kind of a change the way it was 15 years ago. Do you see that in the market?
Yeah, I see two big things in the space of GPUs and these modern container workloads, right? Number one, I think it's in a weird way, back to the future conversation that we need to have with our customers, because you see a lot of this conversation around, hey, why do you need virtualization for running your AI workloads? Why do you just run it on bare metal, right? You got to go back to 25 histories of why virtualization provided all of the benefit around consolidation, better operational efficiency. We've done this for CPU. We're doing it for GPUs, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, right? So that's all around operational efficiency conversation, right? And GPUs are one of the most expensive IT resources, bar none right now. So and we've seen in our customers less than 35% utilization of these GPUs. So hello, virtualization will help you get the maximum capacity and utilization while bringing the operational efficiency, and things like vMotion, DRS, things that we've been doing, the customers take it for granted.
Exactly.
Now available with the GPU. So that's on the operational efficiency side. On the performance side, yes, with virtualization, there's a bit of a performance hit, but our MLPerf benchmarks that we've did has 99% of the bare metal performance retained on VCF, right? So you get all of these benefits of virtualization with pretty much the same bare metal performance on VCF. That's a huge, so you get that performance and operational efficiency together is a huge value proposition for our customers.
Yeah, I repeat that. I mean, the 10 years and 20 years I've been working with virtualized systems, there was a bit of an overhead, but if you look at the stuff in the more recent area, you look at the benchmarks that I've done for my clients, ultimately, it's negligible. And so why wouldn't you do that? Because I see the same thing you saw. I will go into data centers and I put performance monitor, on a GPU server. They're using 10% of it, and that thing costs $100,000 a month to maintain. And I'm like, this is crazy. Let's use the stuff in a more efficient way. So it's great to hear you guys are on board with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where our partnership with NVIDIA, our partnership with Ubuntu, all of these really matters, because at the end of the day, we are helping our customers run and deploy and optimize their modern applications. That includes the Gen AI applications, and most of these now leverage GPU as the underlying infrastructure for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's taking all the beauty of what VCF provides that everybody already knows from years of what VMware has been providing, and then adding some of these great technologies from these great partners and having a simpler, faster, and safer way to do things. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Prashanth, thanks so much for joining us on Virtually Speaking, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great session. Thank you.